Well, the market took a bit of a hit yesterday, Terra Luna Classic being one of those coins that did bear the brunt of it, as well as some enormous amount of uncertainty and misinformation that was spread about Terra Station and Rebel Station. Well, in this video, we're going to be taking a look specifically at Terra Station and the exciting news from Jared over at TFL and everything else going on with Luna Classic, as well as the price predictions, and it's tracking exactly as we expected to and talked about on the live stream. So with that being said, let's get into the video. So we can see 1.83% down, the global market currently sitting at $841.15 billion. You can see Bitcoin struggling there to hold that kind of 17k mark, as well as ETH moved down to nearly 3% in the 24 hours, as well as lots of other coins out there and blue chips. You can see Dogecoin down 4%, XRP down 1.7, Cardano 2.32. So quite a big pullback in the market, some bigger than others. Equally, DeFi not on its own also lost quite a significant amount of market cap. As we move down, we can see Terra Luna Classic has actually slipped back down 4.26% on the day. $77.3 million in volume. Did lose that $1 billion market cap, down at 989. Like I said, 3.8 to 4.2% down on the 24 hour. Now, what's interesting though is when we take a look at our chart, and we drew this on the live stream, we talked about it, it's exactly where we predicted it would be. And more importantly, it's trending in the direction that we think it is. Now, the only thing that we might see is it be slightly later on into the weekend that we potentially would see an upside move from it. Obviously, we see what happens on the green candle. You can see the global market though is recovering on the back of yesterday. We are seeing some green candles. What would I like to see? Maybe push back up to the 17s, hold that as we move across into the back end of the weekend as this 50-day EMA trends downwards, and then I think we could see some nice movement up here depending on where this sits. You can see RSI trending quite nicely, but money flow does show a decline and money coming out of Terra Luna Classic, so we need to be mindful of that. Okay, let's get into exactly kind of what happened yesterday with all the noise. I talked about this in one of my videos, but look, and kind of steer everyone in the right direction. The first thing to note, if you checked your Terra Station application today, you will notice everything is back online, and that is thanks to all nodes and the endpoints that all nodes put in, but everything is back. So unfortunately, if you did unstake, or you were following people that you maybe shouldn't have done, or you weren't tuned into my channel, then you unfortunately now have 21 days in which you're going to have to wait until you can restake your Terra Luna Classic. For the rest of us that did stay with it and did follow the news, and I tried to keep you up to date as much as I could, well, the rewards are much better because there are less people obviously validating and less people taking those rewards. But ultimately, what came out, it says the volunteer Terra Classic developer group Terra Rebels has announced ending support for Terra Station and will focus on the Rebel Station. Now remember, these are but only UIs that allow you access to the blockchain. Everything you have is stored on the Terra blockchain, not Terra Station, Rebel Station, Terra C Vita Station, whatever station it is, they are stored on the blockchain. It's always important to remember that. Says Terra C Vita will handle support for Terra Station from now onwards. Meanwhile, Terraform Labs switches to their cross-chain station wallet and looks to add support for both Lunk and Luna. So Terraform Labs are going to still support Luna Classic as well as Luna, and I think it's an important point to reference that that partnership is still going to continue. It says as part of the Terra Classic revival map, Terra Rebels on Tuesday announced a community pool spend proposal to separate from TFL and Duck One. TFL asked Terra Rebels to do several L1 or Layer 1 changes on Terra Classic to become compatible with the new station with Cosmos Chain, and ultimately that's where it all kind of came from. Ultimately, that decision making there, that point that was put across, fundamentally then created this kind of ultimate panic that everything was going down. We saw massive amounts of staking taken off, which just generated even more panic. The crypto market right now is incredibly fearful, so we do have to be incredibly mindful in some of these decisions that we make. Now, with that being said, we can obviously take a look at the Rebel Station. It's exactly or very much similar to Terra Station, both in terms of what it shows, what it reports, and equally how you interact with it. Remember, it's a UI service that ultimately just allows you your window into the blockchain. Now you can see here 12.81 is the current staking ratio, and we see that community pool sat at 2.04 billion. Now obviously proposal 10983 has gone through, which we would see a 50% minting of this, and I've seen a couple of videos of people saying Binance won't support the burn. I've got a video talking about that coming very soon, so make sure you check it out and give you my opinion on why that's nonsense, and I think Binance will continue to support the burn. What is interesting though on the Rebel Station is we do get live data in terms of volume going through it, which I think is great. You can see here 6th of the 12th, we can actually see live data going through. Our volume is maintaining relatively stable around that kind of 14.03. Now, getting into a bit of news from Jared. Remember, we talked about Jared. He was in a discussion with ASOBs around the kind of Terra C Vita and equally the Luna community. And it says, based on a space today with Terra C Vita, the Lunk community will be ready to take this on soon. There are robust infrastructure providers plus developers capable of maintaining and improving the station and finder. Really impressive work from all nodes on their infrastructure. Well, what does this mean? Ultimately, Terraform Labs will still maintain Terra Station. They've said they will, but in terms of discussions and conversations, both with all nodes, that Terra Luna Classic is prepared to go its own way, and if anything, TFL are there to support that. So for me, I think at the minute it could be the right thing to do. I think there's still a lot of noise around some of these proposals, some of these discussions, and some of these question marks that people have, particularly around 10.983, which I think a lot of people are certainly speculating about. And again, remember, 10.983 is the 50% of all burn transactions in a given epoch to be minted into the community pool at the end of said epoch. Primary benefits: rapid bootstrapping of the community pool's capital on hand. It allows for building of applications. It allows us to incentivizing the applications to come to Terra Luna Classic. All are very good, as long as the circulating supply still comes down. So for me, I think this is an okay proposal, but what I want to see is a bit of a development on it that says anyone that builds on Luna Classic must have some mechanism in which it removes or it burns supply to both support the future development of the ecosystem, and ultimately we have to get the supply down. We are never going to move in terms of price where we all want it to go to if we continue with small amounts of burns, and I think it's important that we reference that and important that we go at. Right now, everyone is very divided. You can see it did end 7 hours ago, and it only just passed with 82 validators not voting on here. And again, this is where you as stakers really have to make the decision of where you stake your Luna Classic. You can see a lot of the bigger ones did vote on yes. Ultimately, sometimes the validators are, have the best interests of the community, but certainly the bigger validators maybe have the best interest of themselves and their business. But let's see what happens. Ultimately, where do we sit? Everything is back to normal. There is no panic. But always have a look at Rebel Station. That might be the one for you. But again, I checked mine, Terra Station, everything is fine. December the 15th was the proposal in which the Terra Station would no longer support Luna Classic. I don't think that's to be true, but if you want to stay up to date, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn that notification bell on. Join me on my live stream, 9 PM every night. We talk about cryptocurrency, Luna Classic, and everything else. You all have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for the support and watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.